Guess what time it is, chat? Hello. Hi, chat. Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. The first full day of the 47th presidency of the United States. Anyways, hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. If you are new, my name is Shawn, also known as Potentially Criminal. I am a defense attorney out in the Cleveland area, and today we're talking about a topic that we've got a long way to go on. We covered it, I think we covered it the day it happened. I think I got lucky. This is one of the things that was like on a Thursday. And this is the issue of Mickey Stines, the sheriff down in Letcher, and I got it right. I had to remember how to pronounce it. Letcher County, Kentucky. Now, he's accused of, and I mean, kind of like, not even really accused, because we watched it as preliminary hearing. We watched him take a pistol and walk up to the judge's chambers and just go boop, 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 repeatedly to the judge. Like it was no big deal. So we know that it happened. Really, it's the issue of why did he do it? Why did he do it? That's the problem we don't have. That's really kind of where we are here. Why did he do it? We don't really know yet. There are some theories. There are some thoughts about why and how he did it. We're still working on those, I think, at this point. But there are some theories. We're going to go over some of those coming up because there are some updates. There are some interesting revelations in this case. And we are going to get into those and get going on that because this is very, very interesting. And I know some of you are saying, why aren't we worried about the pardons and all that? We're going to get to those, guys. We're going to get to those. I kind of wanted a day or two for that to settle because there are some other ones that may be coming out. And I would like to know what's happening there. So we kind of need to give that one a little bit of a calming effect. Let's see what it looks like in the aftermath because I could just come out here and be like Vince and just go, yes. And I don't think that helps anybody. I don't think that helps anybody tonight. So that's why we're not doing it that way. I do want to welcome everybody. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. And we are also on Rumble tonight. Rumble should be working. If it's not, let me know, guys, because I was getting a little frustrated that it wasn't working right away. But I think it's good to go now. I had to just fix something while I was talking to you. Now, yes, getting back to the case, if you guys remember, Mickey Stines walked up to the judge in the courthouse and shot him. Now, we weren't sure what it was about. There were a lot of concerns of that there was, and there were allegations that it involved the sheriff's family and the judge was involved in that somehow. There was like a divorce or something going on. And there's been a little bit more of updates to that case. In particular, we have body cam. Well, I'm sorry, we have a little bit of body cam footage, but we have cruiser footage of Stines being placed into a vehicle at the courthouse. And he sounds a little nutty. He sounds a little Jussie Smollett-ish there because he does talk about some things. Now, we also have learned that the judge himself is alleged to have been involved, and this is something one of the deputies had been involved in, one of the court deputies, not the county sheriff's deputies, involved in some sort of sextortion where a woman had filed a lawsuit and she was on house arrest. And as part of that house arrest, something happened where she was accused of violating it. And to stay on house arrest, one of the deputies basically said, if you have sex with me, I'll take care of this and you'll be good to go. Now, that's not allowed. Just so you know, chat, you can't do that. You are not allowed to do that kind of stuff. And it sounds like the judge may have had some involvement in that. He may have had some involvement in that. We don't know for sure. But we're going to find out because it sounds like that's part of the game that's been alleged here. So we're going to get started on that and go from there. But before we get started, we got 2 super chats to take care of first. We have arson investigator for $49.99. Thank you very much for the super chat. It's good to see you, man. He says, I just found out that Hitler brushed his teeth, and I also brush my teeth. No! I know. Hitler also breathed oxygen. Chat, you gotta be careful. Hold your breath. Hitler also drank water. Hitler was also vegetarian. Hitler was also vegan. He was non-smoking. He was an environmentalist, and he liked dogs. Oh no, chat! Reddit's gonna self-implode once they find out. That's not good at all. He also likes stimulants. Oh, he also liked his methamphetamine. Jefferson Post for $2 says, judicial immunity has just been revoked. Quoting some Lethal Weapon 2 there. Jesus loves you. Well, this I know because the Bible tells me so. Says Shawn? Ah, yes, the proper spelling. Well, that's not the right spelling, but you know, even though Jesus loves me, I know Jesus knows deep down that it's S-E-A-N, but we all can't be perfect. Tianetta has been a member for 10 months. Thank you for the support. It's saying, we survived the great snowmageddon of 2025. Yeah, I know. I saw that there were a lot of people, like people were skiing in the French Quarter. They got like 2 inches of snow, at least down in Louisiana, which that's kind of funny, but you know, it'll all be gone in probably a couple of days. So yeah. Yep, right there. And then it says Shawn like a freshly sheared sheep. Yeah, I'm actually, when am I gotta be due for a haircut soon. It's probably been a couple of weeks. I gotta actually, I gotta, now you guys are making me want to check. EDW Raptor says 13 inches at my house. Okay, is it what you think 13? Like, you can't go outside, stick your wiener in the snow and go, oh, it's 13 inches. That's not how it works, buddy. That's not how it works. You know, that's, you may think that's 13 inches, but come on now. Come on now, boss. Come on now, Bossa Nova. Oh, it's only been a month since I got a haircut? Damn, I'm getting shaggy again. So, yeah, it's only been 4 weeks. So, T-Money is all that is man. It's like, you're right, that would be 18 inches. Okay, well, it's just like he says in Jarhead. It's like, I can't measure in 9,000 penises, so don't use your pecker. Or 45 million. You know, when you're measuring the snow, you can't go by millimeters. Oh, Dolly says 1.3. There you go. Tech Guy South says, I only get sheared once a quarter. Yeah, well, I can't do that. If I did that, jeez, I really would look like I'd look like I sell meth to people. That would be just really bad. You know, that'd be tough for the lawyering game. What is our temperature? Because some of you guys are talking about, yeah, it's 3 degrees outside. Who was a brisk walk through the parking lot today going to court? So it's 8 in New Orleans. Wow. Okay. Anyways, chat, we're going to move on here. We're going to, and also, real quick, Walter Malone says, are you going to be covering the Destiny revenge porn cases? You best believe I'm going to get a hold of that. Oh, yeah, Destiny. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, that's going to be rough. Destiny. Oh, no. But it's funny. Everybody's coming for him. It's like that John Wick picture where there's like a million guns pointed at him. Everybody's coming for him. Not coming on him, which he might like. They're coming for him. Like, everybody who's wanted a shot at the title is coming. Everybody wants a shot at the belt. Nicholas DeOrio, President Sunday, the entire commentary community is coming to collect the scalp. They want that blue. They want the blue whale. They're coming to collect. They're coming to collect Destiny's scalp. They're going to parade it around, chat. They're coming for him. They are coming for him. Oh, God. There's nowhere to run. Nowhere to run for Destiny. Oh, boy. So, oh, no. Alice Maniac says, You mean the commentary? You mean the gay community? Yeah, but there's some base people in the commentary community. Most of them are douchebag bread tubers, so it's hilarious to watch them go after Destiny. But everybody's sharp. Everybody's sitting in the corner sharpening their knives, just getting ready to go. And real quick, Duncan Isle says, "Hey, Shawn, could you shout out my brother's YouTube channel, T-Lance Drums? He's really good at his drum covers. Check him out for any of that sort of thing. Anywho, I appreciate you." Well, hold on. Let's see what do we got here. Tell me he doesn't like use his pecker to do this, because like we're gonna go here. T-Lance Drums. Let's see here. T-Lance Drums. Okay, so what has he got? Well, this looks pretty interesting. I kind of dig what he's playing here. Let's take a look at this. Okay. So while we're here, bop. So we got some videos here. We got Alkaline Trio, Blank, Thrice, okay. Muse. It kind of goes all over the place. Death Cab for Cutie, Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, Taking Back Sunday. Manchester. Wow, that's a little eclectic. Kind of wasn't expecting that, but that's good. That's a good song. Yeah, wow, there's a nice little bit of stuff on here. Looks like he's kind of starting to re-upload again. But yeah, there you go, guys. If you're interested, take a look. Take a look. So, all right. So here we go, chat. Here we go. Okay, Garrett's right. Yes. Does he cover any bands that aren't gay? Hey now. Hey now. All right. X says, I play Fall Out Boy on trumpet. Can you play Sugar We're Going Down? Because that would be pretty cool if you could do that. 2.0 hates when we're like driving in the car and that song comes on like XM. Because she gets mad when I do the whole beginning of it. It's like, am I more than you bargained for yet? And I do the oive! And I do it like all British because that's what it sounds like. She gets so fucking mad. And I just go, oive! Oive! She gets so mad when that happens. All right. But anyways, here we go, chat. Here we go. We're going to start out with the video, and this is through Long Crime. We are going to take a look at it through Long Crime. I mean, is what it is, chat. I know we're not big fans of Long Crime, but they do have some information here, and it is interesting. So we're going to skip around. We're going to skip over a lot of the commentary and the editorializing. We don't really need it. So here we go. Hunter Brooks says, XM, what are you, 60? Well, she doesn't like Spotify, so you can only listen to so much 100.7 WMMS because the Cavs play on there all the time now, so it sucks. So wait, hold on. What somebody says, you get mad. I get mad when I hear you sing. Well, Safa, Anderson Cooper, Safa with your CIA, Safa Glowy, the Vanderbilt Glowy. All right, so here we go, chat. This is from Long Crime. It's their crime fix. So they talk about some of the stuff going on here.
Get a crime scene while I'm started.
For the first time, we are seeing body camera footage after a judge is shot. The crime is shot.
So here, if you guys did not know, this is Judge Mullins, obviously in the black robe. This is Sheriff Stines, obviously dressed like sheriff. Pretty obvious what happened there. If you guys have not seen a picture of Sheriff Stines since then, this is Sheriff Stines.
Some of what he's
walking in, he's all kind of more like he has a beard since all that happened. So this is the Letcher County Courthouse. It's a very small town. I think it's in Whitesville, Kentucky. So it's like, yes, it's a very small town, very small county. But as we get to this, we are going to show there's a little bit just so you guys can see what it was like for them arriving on scene. So, obviously police will show up to, officers in trouble, but like a shooting at a courthouse, all the cops are coming. So here we go. Ladders are for bad luck. Okay. So here we go.
What are you got? Shots fired at the Letcher County Courthouse and somebody shot Judge Mullins.
You're here.
No, sir. Just come out on the radio.
Troopers race to the scene. It's not a call that you often get.
Well, I told him to put them in separate rooms so they don't talk to each other, too.
Yeah. Have you got the witnesses?
No, they're doing the witnesses.
Who's doing the witnesses?
Justin and a couple other people are blocking the witnesses. What?
So the Kentucky State Police are involved. But notice, I think there's already going to be some issues with how this investigation's handled. It's the local police are doing some of the interviewing right now, not the sheriff, not the state police. Like, they should immediately be like, no. Your boss is involved. We're investigating. We don't want the same people investigating him. We already know how that turns out. So.
Down through there.
And the work of securing the crime scene began.
I think he's hitting that other one.
So we're gonna skip ahead here. I forgot there's I gotta grab my notes here. There are the more interesting spots here are the spots where they bring Sheriff Stines out through the sally port in the courthouse.
Well, we got a lot going on.
They bring Sheriff Stines out through the sally port in the courthouse here, and they're gonna show you what happens. Okay, so here we go.
Right now. That it is, brother.
At 3:40 p.m., a couple of women who appear to be distraught, possibly family members of Judge Mullins, show up at the courthouse. A trooper holds one of them back. One woman is trying to...
Came to the courthouse and they got denied. They got Ricada. They got denied.
Get into the courthouse, but the trooper will not let her pass the steps. After 4 p.m. that day, dash cameras show officers...
So this is Sheriff Stines getting hauled out. Remember, guys, we watched that video of him. This is the same clothes he wore that day. He hasn't changed at all. This is him getting put in the cop car.
Leading Mickey Stines out of the courthouse in handcuffs to a waiting cruiser. And then you hear his voice talking with the troopers.
Make sure there ain't no weapons or nothing now. Ain't nothing in there.
And guys, if you remember, this is the guy from the preliminary hearing. This is the detective who testified at the preliminary hearing. They hadn't done a whole lot of investigation yet. They were waiting on cell phone data. There was a lot of stuff he didn't have answers to at the time, which was like a little sus. But this is the detective who testified at the preliminary hearing from the Kentucky State Police. And yeah, and by 4 o'clock, obviously the state police were there taking care of business.
Yeah. Come on now, right here, open up the back hatch. Come on.
Now you gotta hear that, come on. You're gonna hear that's Sheriff Stines. I'm gonna make sure we got this up all the way. This is Sheriff Stines. You're gonna hear talking in little bits and pieces here, okay?
Now, come on.
You heard Stines tell the troopers to make sure there weren't any weapons in the back of the cruiser, and he talks then a little.
Yeah, and you heard him. He's like, I don't make sure there's no guns or knives in the back of this cruiser. Now, are they worried he might be like killed for it, or somebody will try to kill him, like and fake a suicide, or the cops will go, "Oh my God, drop the gun!" Bam, bam, bam. Like, we don't know what they're gonna do yet there. But he's kind of like a little it's a little weird when that happens. They bring it up. You're like, well, why is he worried?
Y'all gonna leave me in here and let me die? No, I can't get up in there. Come on now. Come on. I'm over there, bro. I can't. Yeah, man, I can't get in. These cuffs are way too tight. Come on now, guys. Come on now.
Stines definitely sounds a little paranoid.
You may pick your leg up, my brother.
Y'all got carbon monoxide in here.
Notice he's all worried, like, you're going to carbon monoxide poison me in this car. You're going to kill me with the heat. You're going to, he's already worried they're going to kill him. And like, oh no, you've got me stuck in the garage and the car's running, like you're going to suffocate me in the sally port. Yeah, y'all got carbon monoxide. It's like, yeah, he seems very, 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 something ain't right with him. Something's not right now.
Come on now. Come on. I can't sit like this.
Slide sideways.
I can't. Come on now. Be fair to me.
We're being good to you, brother. You can stick your leg up in there.
Come on now, guys. Please don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. Please.
You want to scoot on over a little bit to the left?
Come on now.
Try to scoot on over a little bit more. That way we don't hit you. Can you go a little bit farther? I just want to hit you with the door. Put your knee in there, my friend.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Bates. Hey, Bates. Can we loosen this up a little or give the window down? I'm sorry. Can we loosen this up a little? Be fair to me, man. I got some air. I'll crack the window for you, but I can turn the air on back here. Okay?
Yeah.
Be fair to me now.
I promise. Yeah, I promise.
God, please.
I promise. I'll tell you.
It's hot back here, man. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
He's like, I'm gonna go. I got my Pokemon deck out here. He's like, what's my criminal deck? I got a good pull out of this. I got a big pull. I can't breathe. Flock, throwing that card on the table. He's got his Floydymon cards. He's like, I got kids. My cuffs are tight. I can't breathe. I choose you. I can't breathe. Thrown into the fight.
Breathe.
The drive to the Leslie County Jail from Letcher County takes about an hour, give or take a few minutes. Stines continues to speak as if he's in fear.
Come on now.
I will say, though, this area of Kentucky is beautiful country. Where the sun doesn't go up till 10 in the morning and the sun goes down at 3 the same day. It is that part of the country.
Yeah, let's make sure I get to the jail.
At times, it's hard to hear the true.
So he's talking. He's like, you got to get me to the jail. Is he worried that, like, is he worried they're going to kill him in the car or someone's going to clip him in the route? He does seem a little, although it's telling, because is that a tell on? Oh, Vodka Blood says Rumble's working. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Somebody just said, Sheriff Stines, Demon's Wrath says, Sheriff Stines tried Floydian slip, but it wasn't very effective. No, but is he saying that because he wasn't? If this was anybody else, he'd be treating them like shit. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell the way he's acting.
At times, long drive.
Was it over your family?
Come on now, guys. What are you doing?
I'm just talking to you.
What are you doing?
Was it over your family?
Okay, see? Now, was it over your family thing? That's a question about motive. If Miranda had already been invoked, and we're not clear he effectively invoked his Miranda rights yet, that's an unmirandized statement. And if he had invoked his right to remain silent, that's a statement meant to elicit a comment that would be related to the crime. Because if you could produce motive, then you could prove that he did it. Because it's like, did you do this because of your family? There's a case in his, I think it's Rhode Island v. Innis, it's Rhode Island v. Innis. And that was the thing the Supreme Court determined. You can't, and this is I told you guys about this case before, where the cops are driving the guy down the road and he threw the gun away when they were chasing him. They said, the two cops are up front. They're like, hey, Frank, that'd be such a shame if the kid found that gun. And they shot each other. And the guy's like, wait, I'll tell you everything. I don't want kids to get hurt. Any statement made to elicit an incriminating response is a question that could violate Miranda. Or, if he wasn't even Mirandized yet, that still could be something that could get suppressed. We don't fully know if he was Mirandized yet at this point.
Come on now, guys. What are you doing?
I was just talking to you. I'm just asking, was it something to do with your family or anything like that?
The trooper, after several minutes, tries to ask Stines some more questions.
Was it something to do with your family? Something happened.
Did something happen?
If something did happen, you know, I mean, it'd be good to let us know. Why did you want to talk to your daughter while I'm in there? Something did happen that, you know.
I mean, listen to this. He's acting like a fuck. Listen, buddy, just tell me and maybe it'll help you. Just tell me. It can't be that bad. Listen to them. They're like, even with one of their own, they're pulling this shit. Yes, Deanna, you're right. They could have been looking. He thought maybe they're taking him to the train station. Yeah, I mean, that's in the part of Kentucky where there's the hauler. Like, you could hide bodies in those hills. So, I mean, they're right next to Harlan County. So, yeah. So straight up and this is something straight out of Justified. So, it's kind of interesting here. Nick Kreuzer, you're bringing up an interesting theory. Were they trying to elicit statements that couldn't be used later? Like, are they trying to help him? I don't think that's the case. I think they're just trying to get him to talk. Remember, they got to get you to talk. You got to talk. If you talk, that's their goal, is getting you to talk and waving Miranda. This is just them doing their thing, I think, at the end of the day. A lot of abandoned mine shafts. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Kingism is saying, good, nice to see you here, man. This is the part of the state that is absolutely a place where you can make people disappear. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, this is God's country down there. So churches go out of business there. Yeah. So here we go, chat. We're going to keep listening to this. It's interesting what they're trying to do with him. It's very interesting what they're trying to do. So we're going to keep this going. Was this near Hazard County? No, this was in Letcher County. If you guys don't know where that is, we'll just bring this up right now. Letcher County, Kentucky. It's Letcher County, Kentucky is. Hold on here. We're gonna just remove this. So this is Letcher County, Kentucky, chat. If you guys were not aware, this is the state of Kentucky. Like this. There's Kentucky. This is down on the state line. This is down there. If you guys notice, it's right there. It's next to this is Harlan County, Kentucky, up here, off to the side. So this is the Kentucky-Virginia border. You know, right through the Cumberland. You know, this is all a lot. It's all part of that. It's, you know, as the Appalachian Mountains are going, it's just roaring right through. Yeah, this is just down in there. This is just down in there. So, yeah, if you guys were wondering where this is, that's where it's at. So, Hazard County's next door. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. It's near Bristol, yes. So, where people are literally dirt floor pouring. Oh, yeah. It's the heart of Appalachia down there. And it's rough for some people. It's rough down there that way. So anyway, here we go. Let's see what else they talk about here.
Involved with something, and they could help you when you go to trial and get a fair trial. letting us know kind of what's going on, what led to this.
At one point, Sheriff Stines asks whether the troopers are actually taking him to a national forest. He doesn't believe the troopers are taking him to the right place. They tell him there is a national forest near the jail.
Maybe we're almost to the jail. One last time. Is there anything? Is this anything to do with your family? So maybe that's some information that we need to know. And what kind of information comes out that always can change how investigations are worked. You know what I mean? And how they're looked at. You know that. Like I said, something led to this.
Come on now, guys. Guys, no guys.
To the jail. Got to see jail seat right there.
This is not the jail.
I promise you. Yeah.
This is not the jail now.
Right here.
This is not the jail.
The officer
I think he thinks they're just gonna shoot him and dump him in a ditch. Oh God, I can only imagine this guy's about to have a heart attack. Yes, Mr. thinks okay. The sheriff looks like he could be my brother. Yes, I know. Well, don't worry. I already have a brother in Southern Ohio who's an attorney too. Apparently, so I got a lot of brothers. Apparently, Papa Criminal was busy.
officers continue to drive, and they assure Mickey Stines they are taking him to the Leslie County Jail.
Okay, Mickey. Anyway, so do you want to talk about it? Is this to do with anything with your family, your daughter, or anything? Bring it on in. Do they have to back out to get out, or does that circle out? Does it circle out, or do they get out? Okay. So,
Who you passing me off to?
Leslie. We've talked about this. This is Leslie County Jail.
Who you passing me off to, though?
No, nobody. He knows the way here. We didn't know the way.
Oh, yeah. Y'all are passing me off here now to somebody.
Nicky, I don't know why you think.
Now he's like, who are you guys giving me to? Now, to be fair, they did move him out of the Enormous is everywhere is God's country, Shawn. Yes, well, some places are more so than others. Yes, he thinks everything's like this dude just must have got done watching like Justified the whole season, right? Binge watched it because like, oh, you guys are handing me off. I'm gonna get killed. It's like, no, like this is the act. It's not a fake jail, and these are real guards. We're giving you to real people.
Yes.
Y'all are gonna let somebody hurt me. Yeah. Come on now, guys. Be fair.
Yeah.
I hope you will be.
Yeah.
Yes, he's looking
Don't
for Jack
pass
Ruby.
me off to nobody.
The only people we're passing you off to is the jailers inside here.
Just
Okay.
to do it.
That's the jail.
They said there's somebody in there that they got to clear out.
Yeah, come on now, guys.
One last time, the trooper tries to get Stines to tell
New with your family. I think that's some information that would be nice to be out there so we knew what exactly led to this.
I'm putting in that Leslie County van.
Stines is pulled out of the cruiser and taken into the jail to be booked. Stines' lawyers released the following statement to me It says the recently released footage affirms our belief that our client felt there was an imminent threat to his family and himself. There was an extreme amount of pressure placed upon him as a result of the pending civil case and its potential to reveal matters within the courthouse. The footage shows that our client perceived a genuine threat, and its impact upon his mental health is apparent.
So that's interesting that there's an idea. They're arguing that he had a threat. He perceived a genuine threat. Now that is always a use of force. If you had an objectively reasonable belief that you were facing a threat of serious bodily harm or death, you can use deadly force. And if you have a reasonably perceived threat of just harm, you're allowed to use force, and that if that force raises a serious bodily harm, you can escalate and escalate. And as a cop, he can escalate force. They have a force continuum. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but they're arguing that he had perceived a genuine threat. Now, do they really know this? I don't know. Maybe are they bullshitting for their guy? I think it's a little too early to tell. But we are going to talk about, because we have next coming up is the next pretrial hearing they've had. They had one on Friday. We'll get to that in a second here.
Received a genuine threat arrest with her while she was on home incarceration. Sheriff's office civil lawsuit in the days leading up to the shooting.
Chat, here's the thing they had. They had a excuse me, by the way. They had a civil lawsuit, and this is actually kind of what ties things together.
Arrest. We found out that he had been deposed in a civil lawsuit in the days leading up to the shooting. A woman named Sabrina Atkins sued the sheriff's office, claiming a deputy named Ben Fields had sex with her while she was on home incarceration. Atkins was arrested in 2021 on a drug charge. Atkins claims that she couldn't afford to pay for an ankle bracelet and was afraid to go back to jail. So Fields, who was supervising her on home incarceration, offered to help her in exchange for sex. Atkins said she and Fields had sex in Judge Mullins' chambers 6 times. Fields eventually was charged criminally and served 6 months in jail. He is supposed to be on probation.
I mean, there you go. That's a face of meth there, chat. So anyway, that is kind of where we are. That's the ultimate state of things right now. He was held without bond, but he did not request bond the last time we were in court. But he did have finally another pretrial, and the pretrial was held on Friday. Saying is that E.T. E.T. phone home, y'all. Oh. So. Yeah, it's a little interesting there where this actually ended up and where things are right now. But we have a pretrial hearing to go through, guys, and we're going to get to that next. So, before we get too far, we got a couple other comments to get through. Christine Fortunato has been a member for 6 months. Christine, thank you for being here. Thanks for the support. Really do appreciate it. T-Rex Trucking and Morris says, pray for the South. The mighty Confederacy shut down over a measly 2 inches of snow. And I heard the Houston government says their plan is wait for it to get warmer. Yeah. You know who would capitalize? That's seems like that is it. 2 inches of snow. Duncan Idaho says, dang, man, I wasn't expecting you to actually go there. Thanks very much. You're welcome. Of course. Either it was going to be something wholesome or something really degenerate, and it would have been great for the Clippers. So, silver linings there. Stephen Cooper's been a member for 13 months. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for the support, man. I appreciate it. Says, stay hydrated and hashtag fuck John Bolton. Yes. Fuck John Bolton. Suffer. Losing your security clearance and your Secret Service detail. Womp, womp, womp. No more wars for you, honey. No more wars for you. And then Shredder SO7 gifting 10 subs. You know what, chat? She came in here like Sheriff Stines. She came out, busting out her piece, getting ready, baptizing the greens. We're not even praying them away anymore. She's like, I'll baptize them just like this. Bam, bam, bam. That's what she's doing, pulling a Mr. Blonde. Thank you, Shredder, for your support. The Duncan Hido's like, I can help out too. And he's just like, bop, 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 bop. Just everywhere, chat, just baptizing these grays forcibly if necessary. You know, doing their part to get this chat green. I appreciate every little bit of it. You guys are doing the Lord's work there, you know. As said in the famous song, God's plan. God's plan. God's plan. God's plan. God's plan. Oh, times 24. Okay, so Alberto, no, but that said, though, guys, we do need to get to our sponsors real quick tonight. Got a couple sponsors. TheDragonsTreasure.com, a haven for tea and anime lovers and soap lovers and coffee lovers, guys. That's right. T-Man is on a new campaign. It's the 2025 campaign, getting ready to take on the world and dominate it. Just like it's Unreal Tournament. Dominating. That's right, chat. Use the promo code CRIMINAL and you get 10% off your choice of things there at the Dragon's Treasure. So be there or be square. Secondly, guys, we have maf-arms.com, chat. Yes, that's right. maf-arms.com. You know him, Matt for Fudbusters. I need to reach out to Max. We need to do a show. We can see what he's up to Friday night. Talking about his case with Cody Wilson, because there are some updates. And yeah, also I want to kind of hear his opinion on SHOT Show, because that's going on right now. But guys, MAF Corp, your premier wind chime dealer in Southern Florida, guys. They are still doing the Yuletide yard sale. I think for some reason they forgot it, but hey, we're almost a month after Christmas and they're still doing it, chat. You know, you could save $12 on a minimum $100 order, or if you feel like being a ball and out of control, you could spend $3,000 and get up to $600 off your order. That is how you do it if you want to be a baller and a shot caller. But he can't help you put 20-inch blades on your Impaler, just so you're aware. But use the promo code POTCRIM and you can get 10% off. I don't even know if the coupons stack. Try it, find out. You're going to have to find out for yourself if they work at all. But maf-arms.com. Then last but not least, chat, Stoney's Bar and Grill. That's right, chat, at 158 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, chat. Stoney's your place to go. Toss one up for the January Sixers getting freed. Toss one up for the 51 Spooks losing their security clearances. Toss one up for the Gulf of America. Toss one up for all the dubs. We are just racking dubs, chat. Dub, 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 dub. It's Dub City, boss man. That's where we're at right now. Just racking and stacking those dubs. You know, go down to Stoney's. It is still, there's still time. Go crack open a nice cold one. It'll be great. You know, Stoney's Bar and Grill, chat, is the place to go. They have happy hour from 4 to 7 every day. And today, actually, they had 250 cans. You know, they were bringing it out there today. You know, I think they want to get on the Trump train as well. But chat, you know, it is Tuesday. It is Tuesday night, so they'll open until 10. So you only got about an hour and 45 minutes. You got to get your ass down there. Get some road pops in you. Have one for Donnie T. Have one for everybody that got out on January 6th. Have one for my boy Don Workman, also known as Pleb Media. You guys know him. If you're on Future Conflicts, you love him. His case got dismissed with prejudice, so he's walking around as a free man today. Raise one up to Don. Raise one up to the Q Shaman. Raise one up to Lectern Guy. Raise one up for everybody. Sadly, even Rayap's got one. You know what though? Hey, sometimes even the shitbags get onto the lifeboat before things go bad. Just happens that way. Like Billy Zane got on a lifeboat in Titanic. You're like, what a motherfucker. But you know what? It happens. Can't do anything about it. Federico got one too. Yeah, but he got burned. So, he got burned. Baked Alaska get a pardon? Technically, yes. Yes, he did. He was not denied one. Is Enrique Tarrio a Fed asset? Yeah, and he got hung out to dry, which Federique, yeah, it's not so good for him. Anyway, chat. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Eric says, I just read the Philly DA seeking state charges to keep the January 6ers in prison. Is that going to fly? No. He has no jurisdiction of what these people did somewhere else. I mean, it's not going to work. Like, I don't see how that would work. You know, you can't challenge the pardon. It's over. It's over. Oh. So, it will not work. It will not work. So yeah, it's just it's just not gonna work the way he thinks it will. Here, let me see what this. Hold on, why is this not working? So he said it, but we don't really know what he's going to try to do or how the legal strategy is going to work. But we'll find out. Yes. Kia Panic says, we love our cops, our law enforcement. We love our military. They're important. Well, if they're doing the right thing, they are. We love them. I heard the DC prison was refusing to release some of the January 6ers. Was that true? Yeah. Yeah. That's that last night they were, but they're out now. They should be out now. There's no reason to keep them anymore. So we'll see. And then we're saying, why do people ask the same questions about the pardons every time? I don't. People ask questions, man. That's what people do. It's what people do. It's what people do. Nick Chris is saying false imprisonment lawsuit time ain't gonna happen. It's not false imprisonment. You got pardoned. That doesn't mean they were false charges. You know, there ain't no Fed judge who's gonna say that was false imprisonment. Let me tell you what. Like, if you believe that, I could sell you a bridge in Arizona. I got some oceanfront property down there, so if you want some. All of them are released except the 7 with outstanding out-of-state warrants. Well, that makes sense. So, anyway, chat, here we go. Let's move on to the second part of our feature of Mickey Stines. And this is a pretrial hearing he had on Friday. And we're going to get started on this here. So here we go, chat. We've got this. This might be a little easier to hear, so we're going to get to that and make sure it's a little more hearable. Should be a little easier hearing than that body cam footage. And now we'll also have some closed captioning that will make some sense. So here we go, chat. Here we go.
All right, we're here on 24CR204, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Shawn versus Shawn, Mickey Stines. This is my first hearing on this matter. I was appointed to sit as special judge in this matter by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So I will be the sitting judge in Letcher Circuit Court till the conclusion of this matter. Also, the Honorable Courtney Shoemaker, who is the Circuit Court Clerk for Boyle County, is going to be the Special Circuit Court Clerk.
And guys, that makes some sense here. Obviously, they're not like Letcher County doesn't have a judge anymore, so it's not like he can preside over this. So they need another judge. They need another judge. They've got to call one in because, you know, we did have a judge till somebody killed him. And they're just looking at Mickey Stines. He's like, what? It's like, that's just what happens sometimes, you know. And now it does help too. They're bringing in an outside judge, which makes entirely good sense. Hopefully he's from far away. There's also a clerk of court who's going to be handling all the filings, is not from that county, which is also just as critical. Not from there, has nothing to do with it. That way it limits the funny business because, you know, this is You know, the idea of corruption only happening in the big city, guys, I tell you, in a rural county, little places, big places, you know, city of 1 million people, city of 10,000, city of 1,000. You can find corruption of all sorts everywhere you go. So I think that's a good idea. It just eliminates the issues there. And here we go. Here we go. This guy sounds old as fuck. Well, yeah. Normally, when you're getting assigned as a judge, you're normally a retired judge of some sort. You've either aged out or you've just retired because you don't want to be judge at like full time anymore. So that's normally how they appoint judges, because otherwise, coming from another county, wherever he's coming from, even if it's like an hour away, and that's in Kentucky, the counties, just because of the terrain down there, it's going to take like an hour to go anywhere, unless you're like right on I-75. So it's going to take a little while. If he goes down there, that could be easily 3-4 hours. That's like half a day, almost a whole day, depending on his schedule. So yeah, this is likely a retired judge who's come in and they've appointed him to come sit. And yeah, here we go.
For the record, the parties are present. Jackie Steele is the Commonwealth's attorney in this matter, and Jeremy and Carrie Bartley, I see, are both present.
Yes, Your Honor.
With their client. I wanted to set this first status hearing. I know we'll probably have a few of these just to kind of go through a few matters to make sure we're going to proceed efficiently during the pendency of this action. Mr. Steele, can you first give me kind of an update as far as proceeding with discovery and kind of what you think a reasonable timeline is for discovery completion on this case?
First, Judge, let me clarify. Ramsey Dallin with the Attorney General's office, also attorney handling the matter. She had a conflict with other scheduling issues today. I see Mr. Kokenaur, Attorney General's office, on special prosecutions. Ramsey has really been taking care of the discovery. I know we have made discovery. I think 2 weeks ago we made another some more discovery, some issues. We still have some things coming in and things being tested. I would think within the next 4 to 6 months, all discovery and testing would be complete.
Okay. Mr. Kokenaur, you wish to input on that at all? Or anything you can update us on?
No, Your Honor. Jackie is correct. That sounds correct. And Ramsey, when she gets back next week, she's out of the state this week, but we'll have a better idea at that time.
All right.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
If I may, Your Honor, I also failed to mention Mr. Jim Cox, who is co-counsel with our office. He is appearing by Zoom as well, Your Honor. And if I may speak to discovery, they have provided a plethora of voluminous discovery. We're continuing to go through that. At this point, all of our discovery requests have been met. And at this point, there are no outstanding discovery issues that we're aware of.
All right. And I encourage, like I said, Mr. Bartley, I know any request you have, please go ahead and make it, and they'll be happy, I'm sure, to provide that. If we do become, at any point in time, if there is an issue in regards to discovery, all y'all need to do is notify my office, and we can address that at any point in time the parties need.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Next, there's been an affidavit of indigency filed on behalf of Mr. Stines. Mr. Steele, have you had the opportunity to review that yet?
I have not, Your Honor. No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Bartley, if you don't mind, or I'll tell you what, if it's okay with you, I'll send Mr. Steele a copy of that for his review also.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Then I would ask that if we have any hearings relative to that, Judge, if we could do those in camera, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
and Mr. Steele, I'm going to have you take a look at it. I'll just kind of give you my inclination at this point in time after reviewing the affidavit of indigency. Due to the nature and complexity of this case, I do believe after reviewing the affidavit of indigency that Mr. Stines will qualify potentially for Chapter 31 funding. I'm going to ask you.
And guys, that's not uncommon. Yeah, like everybody can afford an attorney until, like, think about how fast, like, they talked about a plethora of discovery, just tons of it. I guarantee there's already, you know, like I said, chat, I just got done with, I got to point to a guy who was accused of aggravated murder. They were involved in a drug robbery that went bad and somebody got clipped. Like, and there were just, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4 defendants and, a couple other parties, but like 4 defendants, 2 victims. And there was like 90 gigabytes of data on those guys alone, plus all the other forensic data that was recovered. There was like another 30 gigs of data that I had to go through. And then there was some body cam footage. I mean, and just like thousands of pages of paper. Thankfully, I had it in a PDF file. But yes, it does. Like, these things will generate a lot of discovery, and they're going through it. And there's only so much money you have for something like this. I mean, like, even if you had $100,000, 2 attorneys plus staff are burning through that. They probably had an investigator working on this. Money's already gone. Gone, chat. It's gone. So, it's all gone. So I'm sure he's out of money at this point, and that's why they put together a motion for him to be indigent and get state funding. And they're going to ask to be the appointed counsel, which the court should do that. They should do that. It doesn't make any sense not to. They're already familiar with the case, so that doesn't reset anything, because otherwise a brand new attorney gets on, it's a problem. These are attorneys he's comfortable with, because technically now he's been charged with murder of a public official. He could face the death penalty potentially. So this is going to get real fucking serious fast, and having him with an attorney he's got a rapport and trust with is going to be critical. And we're going to learn more about why that's going to become critical in a second.
I'll send that to you, and you can copy special prosecutions on it. What I would ask is, after I send it to you all, if you all have any objection to that, if you will file that with the court within 10 days.
Yes, Shawn.
And I don't think that will be an issue. Mr. Bartley, once we get that issue resolved, I will then proceed potentially with any request for Chapter 31 funding. And Mr. Steele, Mr. Kokenauer, maybe you all can address this if you want. Obviously, the rules would require that you all be given notice of the request for any ex parte hearings. Without question, there I think will be some ex parte hearings potentially for Chapter 31 fundings. How do you all want Mr. Bartley to notify you all anytime that they are going to file for an ex parte hearing?
Your Honor, Mr. Bartley has both mine and Ramsey's email. We've emailed each other several times through the last several months. Email will be fine. He does not need to file those in certified record.
I appreciate that. That's always, the Chapter 31 process is of such that first step, the notice requirement, I don't think needs to be formalized. So any point in time, Mr. Bartley, before we'll have a hearing on that, if you'll just notify Mr. Steele in regards to that, we'll address that at that point in time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Steele, Mr. Kokenauer.
And then next, are we in a position to know if there's going to be a request for any type of evaluation?
Judge, I've spoken with my client. We have. Oh, my apologies, Judge. I thought you were speaking. So what we have spoken with Mr. Steele about is that we do believe
now, chat, the issue, they're going to talk about criminal responsibility. That's the idea of, like your capacity arguments, insanity arguments. Those are what they're getting to here, is criminal responsibility. That's just, remember, chat, every place is different. Every place is different, so they all call it different things. But yes, there's Mickey Stines hanging out in the background, and they're being good attorneys. They could have showed up, they could have showed up from their office, but they're doing this is a good attorney work, believe it or not. Servicing your client, being there for him, being available. That's critical.
there will be an issue as to criminal responsibility. We've consulted with, folks with regards to that issue. I reached out to Mr. Steele and we basically decided that we would raise this as a joint motion. I know that, once we provide that notice, the Commonwealth is entitled to have their expert evaluate Mr. Stines. And out of expediency, I believe that Mr. Steele and I would ask for an order for that evaluation to go ahead and take place. There are a couple of issues I did want to address with regard to the examination. I don't think they will be at issue at all, but I did want to make a couple of notes. But that's how.
So right now, both, and I agree. If I was in the state's attorney's office, the Commonwealth's attorney's office, like the attorney general's office being involved in prosecuting this, I would 100% want to know if this guy's mentally competent. Because it could easily be he's not, but you also want to make sure you can prove that he is if he is. And for the defense, they need to make sure their guy's what is his mental status? Whether or not they can even make a defense, just can this guy defend himself? Can we work with him? So no, the idea that they're both seeking it for different reasons, but it is not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all. Scam Likely is like, wow, how'd you get out of prison for this? I know. I teleported. Maybe I'll do that for Halloween next year. If this trial's still going, I'll shave this and have a goatee like he does. Oh. So. So real quick, you guys had some questions here. Real quick, are these attorneys death penalty certified? I believe they do have experience in death penalty cases. Has a mental evaluation been ordered? We're working on that right now. And Nick says they seem very collegial. There's no reason not to be at this point. There are going to be times where things start grinding down, like the Brian Kohberger case is a great example, where the state and the defense are kind of starting to butt heads and wanting to fucking fight. That's going to happen, but at the beginning, you are expected to be collegial. You're expected to be calm. You're expected to be working with the parties. Right now, discovery is free flowing, and really, if you're the state, you've got this in the bag. There's no reason not to be collegial. You could also argue this is the South a little bit. There's an idea, especially in rural areas, that you operate like there's, even in large cities, like you go downtown Cleveland. It's pretty collegial and nice. But when you go out to the boons, it's still very collegial, very respectful in nature. If you start getting out of line, there's a little bit of an issue there. And what may work in downtown Cleveland isn't going to work in, an hour south of Columbus, down in the middle of nowhere. There's, you've got to be collegial and respectful until you don't have to be. But you're not at that point yet.
We intend to proceed, Your Honor, with the court's blessing.
All right. And in regards to what I generally would do, and I think that's probably the best course of action to go ahead and get that in the pipeline. It is going to require, what I would recommend is that we go ahead and get the order entered in regards to competency and criminal responsibility. I might as well go ahead and that address, since we're going to be doing that, versus we've seen it sometimes be piecemealed, and I don't want to delay the proceedings if we would have to go back and redo that. I know KCPC will initially do a video interview of him initially, and then we'll notify, which is now required by law, and then they will then notify the court if a inpatient evaluation would be required.
Your Honor, so and I understand the court's position, and certainly we do not raise the issue as to competency, but I understand the court and the expediency of going ahead and examining that. I understand that, but I did want to make clear that our notice only concerned the criminal responsibility, Your Honor.
Okay.
But the other issue that I wanted to make sure that we discussed was my understanding with the, I believe it's Shawn's law that made it more clear that our expert should be able to participate in the proceedings at KCPC. And I would ask that I'll go ahead and identify him as Dr. Eric Drogan.
Okay, I'm very familiar with Dr. Drogan.
We would ask that Dr. Drogan be allowed to participate pursuant to the statute. And then the second piece of that is, and generally I believe this is standard procedure, but I believe that normally KCPC gives both parties an opportunity to submit materials that they may want reviewed.
Sure.
We certainly would like to make sure that we have that opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, both sides will have. I know the more information the KCPC's provided, the more effective the evaluation will be.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
That is true. Like, you could submit things, give them information, give them background, but you don't get to sit there with your client, because ultimately, you know, when it comes to, like, when you're making an NGRI plea, it's one thing if you're just doing competency, because when you're just asking about competency, they handle that, and there's two kinds. You basically have an NGRI evaluation, an insanity evaluation, and a competency evaluation. They can be distinct, although when you argue there's an insanity evaluation needed, they also evaluate for competency. When you only get a competency evaluation, you only get one of the two. And that's important, because in a competency evaluation, they ask, like, do you know who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? How old are you? What do you do for a job? You know, do you understand what you've been charged with? Yeah. Do you know who your attorney is? Yes. Do you know what your attorney is there to do? Do you understand what the judge is there for? What does the judge do? Do you understand, like, the difference between a lie and the truth? Yeah. What happens if you tell a lie? Okay. And then what happens if you tell a lie in court? All those different things that can happen there. You know, they ask him, like, do you understand what jail means? Do you understand what probation means? All these things where somebody, if they can prove they understand what's going on, great. When it comes down to an NGRI situation, though, laddie, you're basically asking them, well, how did things go? What happened? And they're gonna have to, like, they can't say, I don't want to talk about it. You have to fucking tell them what happened and your reactions and what was going on with you at the time for them to figure out what the hell's going on. There's no other way around that. Now, the only time I had one case where the guy, actually, no, I won't say that what he did there, but let's say, the person's interviewing the person, the person from the psychiatric unit, the psychiatric organization that is in charge of this, and they sit down with the guy, and, I've had this happen where the client, he's out on bond and he comes in for the interview, and literally in the middle of the interview, he gets detained because the person doing the interview is like, oh my God, he's batshit insane. Like, the phone is fucking talking to him. The phone on the desk is talking to him. Like, the radiator's talking to him. Like, and the person, I mean, like, that's one of the only times I've ever gotten, like, a turnaround within a day of a report. It's like, no, he's 100% insane, and we're going to try to medicate him. So that happens. That'll happen sometimes. But most of the time, you're going to have to talk about what happened. What were your reactions? How are you feeling? Why did you do it? Usually, so when you're doing an NGRI situation, you're almost going to have to admit to everything that happened. And then, is there a mental defect and disease that caused you an issue there and that you weren't in the right state of mind? So the radiator told me in heaven everything is fine. Eric Phone says he shook the hand of the invisible lawyer. I've not had that one bad, but I've heard about things that bad. I've heard of those before, but I've also had more than enough of them where you start reading it and they almost say right off the bat, your guy's a fucking malingerer. He's fucking faking it. So, it is like I said, guys, this is a this is telling us a lot about where we think this might go, where this might go.
Mr. Steele, what's your take on if we do just criminal responsibility or if we go ahead and knock out competency and criminal responsibility?
I'm okay with the competency issue. This is taking a little bit of a turn from the discussion me and Mr. Barley had. I thought we was doing a competency evaluation. They always do the criminal responsibility behind it. But now he's saying that he wants his expert there during a criminal responsibility. I'm not comfortable doing a criminal responsibility if he's going to have an expert on that position unless we know what the issues are they're raising in the criminal responsibility of their expert. So we're going to get in a position where our experts at KCPC or the court's experts at KCPC are on criminal responsibility are going to make a finding while their expert's present, and then he's going to go back and write his report. I don't want the court's KCPC evaluators doing an evaluation until they know what their position is, what their expert's position is. That way he's not interfering, but he's in an evaluation for criminal responsibility, and then he gets to go back and then address issues that he thought were not discussed properly during the KCPC responsibility issue. So I'm okay with getting the order in, but I think there should be I think their expert, if they've already conferred with him, he's already done an examination, needs to get that report in before the KCPC responsibility issue is done.
So there you go. It's not 100% clear, but it sounds like Mickey Stines already got an expert. And if they already have an expert, that expert's going to be, now here's the funny thing. The state's attorney here is like, wait. If we're going to have the state psychiatric people interview him, we want to see that report. Now, I would argue when you're on the defense, you don't have to turn, let's say one of you guys, for example, I'm using W. McMaster. What are you doing here? So let's say, for example, we're going to use, hold on, we'll pick someone out of here in chat. I'm going to be defending you. Bye, Franz. Also, yeah, guys, don't be completely retarded with the chat. Don't be completely retarded. So we're going to start by Franz. Let's say I'm representing you by Franz, and I think you're insane. And I get an expert. I get our own shrink to talk to you. That shrink comes back and says, hey, Shawn, here's my report. By the way, I think he's faking it. Or I don't think he's crazy. He's got mental health issues, but he's not guilty by reason of insanity crazy. So what do you do there? Well, I don't have to disclose that report to the state. That's not something I have to do because that's inculpatory evidence. That's something I don't have to disclose because I'm not using it at trial. So even if I tell them about it, they don't get to seek that from me. They don't get to get that expert's opinion. They don't get that report. They don't get to subpoena that report. That, for example, like if, and sometimes if there's, kidney diddling, a lot of defense attorneys will go get a polygraph done because it tells you a couple things right off the bat. If the polygraph works, you can go to the police with it. And a lot of times, police, because they do believe in polygraphs, will decline to investigate a case any further. But if you were to fail one, well, you're not going to tell the police that he failed. You're not going to give them that kind of information. And even if the police were to find out, that's not something they can go get anyway, because they're not worth anything. But I don't have to tell them about it. I don't have to tell them shit. Even if I know there's inculpatory evidence out there. I mentioned this before, Chet. I had a case, a guy was accused of felonious assault, beating the fuck out of a girl that basically mooched drugs off him and then didn't want to pay. It didn't turn out like they said it did, from what I was able to discern. But there was a witness who said, oh, yeah, he beat the fucking brakes off her. And he seemed kind of credible. Guess what I don't have to go do? I don't have to go down the street and tell the prosecutor I found that guy. I don't ever have to say shit. And I said, oh, okay, thanks. The guy's like, will anybody call me? I'm like, maybe, I don't know. Sometime soon, sir. Have a nice day. I didn't say shit to nobody about that. I'm not giving them a fucking free witness. I got my guy pled out to a misdemeanor. You don't have to. I don't have to disclose inculpatory evidence. So the fact they're already bringing up their expert and all of that on the record like that must mean their expert thinks he is fucking crazy or had some sort of mental disease or some sort of psychotic break at that moment. So that is kind of what we're thinking about there. So that is just something to think about here. What are you guys doing? Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. It's just something to think about, chat, how this all plays out. What do you guys, wait, what about Yellow Flash? All right. Anyway, that's the interesting part there. They must already have an expert opinion that says he's not crazy.
Yeah. So, Judge, I don't think that the rules require preparation of a report before that examination. We are, again, we raise only the issue of criminal responsibility. I understand that it's expedient to raise both, but once we give notice, there's nothing that I see that requires us to produce a report before he's evaluated. And, I guess the reverse could be true that, if we have them evaluated, I mean, if we submit the report, then the inverse is true. Then they get the opportunity to see our position in advance and to evaluate it, in that light, Judge. So,
and that's a fair point. He's saying, well, the prosecutor's saying, well, I want to see it, so we have time to prepare. And normally the court-appointed psychiatrist would go, and then you could get a second opinion. But the defense attorney is pointing out, yeah, there's no requirement for this. You're citing something that never happens. Like, that's not a rule. That's not an obligation of ours. And remember, chat, he's operating within the parameters of what he has to do. Remember, the prosecutor has to seek justice. The defense attorney's got to represent his client. There's two different standards there. And one of them is just making sure you meet your official obligations. And his obligation does not include handing over shit before everything kicks off. So he's hanging tight with that. And I don't blame him for keeping his cards close to the chest. Excuse me. Ooh. I'm going to start sneezing in a second, I bet. You don't have an obligation to turn your cards over, because otherwise now the state could sit there. The prosecutors could go talk to that guy, and that guy, the government's shrink could look at that and prepare and come up with he's bringing up a very good point here that's not allowed.
I'd ask that we go ahead and send him up there, have him evaluated. If there is something, once we both exchange reports that in rebuttal they want to have reviewed by their expert, then I think certainly they can send them Dr. Drogan's report and have them examine it, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to take that under advisement. I am going to go ahead and get an order entered. We'll address the issue of the timing of the providing of the reports and who's present and when. I want to take a look at that Mr. Barr, I mean, for me, the distinct difference would be KCPC, while they're an employee of the Commonwealth, are not an agent of the Commonwealth. That is an independent evaluation versus Dr. Drogan, who would be a retained defense expert. So,
if I could, Your Honor,
sure.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Judge. And I think that if this were a court, I mean, if we were only looking at the issue of competency, but I believe under 807, if we have our own expert and we're not asking them to serve as an independent, I mean, this is going to be the state's witness. I mean, KCPC will be their expert. And Mr. Still, do you disagree with that position or that piece of it?
Judge, if I may at this point in time, that's exactly going to my point. If he was indigent from the get-go and he had been found indigent and I understand the court may be looking at that issue, they're required to use state funds available before coming to you for Chapter 31 funds. Also, they had funds available for them for an expert in criminal responsibility. That is their expert. They're not sending him for a criminal responsibility competency issue to be addressed. For the court to have an understanding, for them to then say, okay, there's criminal responsibility issues. They have got an expert hired. They're putting the court and the Commonwealth in a position that they're going to allow criminal responsibility done. Well, they've already got an expert hired. And like the court said, they're not my expert. They are a function of the court, for the court to look at issues in regards to pretrial issues. So that's again, just reemphasizes my position in regards to criminal responsibility, why their expert who's already hired should have a report filed before that goes forward.
All right. I'm going to take that issue under advisement. I'll take a
Now that's a very interesting point there. And he comes back with a very good point. This is not ours. This is the courts. They're not our expert. And he does bring up the point. They did priorly go ahead and hire an expert. So certainly it sounds like they're intending to use the expert. Although I do think if I'm the defense, I'm still going to argue. I get to decide when I'm like, I have deadlines to disclose that. But if I have it right off the bat, I don't have to give it right away. And I think that's fair. They could say they don't have to do this right away. I probably would make the same argument ultimately. You know, fuck you. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to do it. Now, let's see what the judge is going to take it under advisement. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, real quick, been there, done that for 9 months. Says Shawn is the man. Well, thank you. That's true. All right. Let's see here.
look at that. I will either issue an order or I'll enter a briefing schedule in regards to that issue.
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else you all want to address today?
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that the court advise how you would like us to make our request for bond. We had discussed at the arraignment with the previous judge that we would do a formal bond hearing. Certainly, we were kind of in limbo until your appointment, Your Honor. So we certainly would ask the court to review it, but we would like the opportunity to address bond, Your Honor, and how, in whatever form the court would like for us to raise that issue.
I'm fine, but in regards to issue that, if you want to set a time for a formal motion on your bond, we can do that at any point in time.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. In terms of dates, is there any parameter in which you would like for us to file it?
If you all want, you can confer with the Commonwealth. If you want, just find some agreeable dates to both sides, and then we'll coordinate that with my office, and that'll be a hearing that I will travel and do that in person.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. That's why I want to make sure that it was convenient for all the parties.
Absolutely. We'll work around that. And when we get a little bit more, we can probably tie it in, and also with the fact that if we need to have any arguments in regards to the evaluation process, we could probably couple that and kill two birds with one stone.
Yes, Your Honor. In the event that the court, there were a bond set that was makeable, then at that point we, may have to revisit whether there's a inpatient versus outpatient. But I understand, Your Honor, we'll file that motion and get with everyone to discuss a convenient hearing date, Your Honor.
Sure. Be glad to address bond at any point in time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else we need to address today?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Steele.
Nothing for the Commonwealth, Your Honor.
Mr. Kokenauer, anything from the AG's perspective?
No, Your Honor, nothing else. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate all the parties. I will then look for you all to look for some dates once the bond motion is filed, and then we'll set a time to have that heard, and then we'll finalize any of the issues in regards to the evaluation of Mr. Stines. So if there's nothing else with that, court will be in adjournment, and then we'll reconvene upon an agreed upon time with the parties.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, chat. So they're done. That's it. So now going back to this here, the judge did state, I guess, at some point, this is going to be one of many pre-trials. So we're not even close to being done here. We're not even close to being done. We've got a long way to go. There's going to be a lot more that comes out about this. There's probably going to be a battle of psychiatric experts going forward about how this is going to go. And we've got some questions here I'm going to try to answer for some of you guys with this, but I'll get to some of these other older questions here that need to get addressed first. Jesus Loves You is a new member. Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Hydrosphere says, have you gone over the executive orders from yesterday and a January 6th slow release. Not yet. I was going to save that probably for tomorrow. Like I said, I wanted to give it a couple of days because, we could go out there, ringing the bell and whoa, and we probably will ring the cowbell tomorrow. But we kind of need some, let's see how, I got to see how it settles. We need, I like the 48 hours or the future conflicts mantra of give it 48 hours and then there's some time to report on it. So we'll be doing that tomorrow night. Hodor, because it's not only going to be Trump's pardons, but it's also going to be Biden's pardons at the last minute ones he did. Hodor is saying, I hire you for one bullpen an hour. I call it the Clyde Clause. Well, I don't like that idea. Kevin Dorr for $10 says, January 6th guy Jeremy Brown won't be released because they got him on a bullshit gun charge. Short barrel versus the pistol stock stuff. Well, at some point, maybe the case will get resolved and he can get resolved out of that too. So he has to serve 3 more years. The feds tried recruiting him before January 6th and recorded it and released it. That's how the feds are, man. They That's how they go after people. That's what they do, man. That's what they do. That is what they do. Nick Kreuzer says, you're almost necessarily collegial when a party in court. You are, but there are times where shit's going to get intense. And parties are going to fucking want to, be acrimonious. It does happen. But we covered on Thursday, if you get too shitty, the court will step in and say, you guys need to cut the shit. It happens, man. Emotions flare, tempers, tempers flare. Emotions get out of control a little bit. You get a little zealous. The other side gets a little zealous. It happens. It happens sometimes. And sometimes it's enough for the court to say, enough. But as we saw that federal case down in Alabama, the judge said, you two are going to go eat lunch somewhere. And then you're going to send me a notice about it and report on what happened. Sometimes the court will make you say, now, Kith. It all depends. It all depends on how bad it is. Yes, it's be nice until it's not time to be nice. And I think that's how you have to do it. That's generally how I try to handle things. There's no reason to be a dickhead right off the bat. Sometimes, you're going to escalate pretty quickly, but normally, no, you start off great. It's better that way. It's better that way. Like I mentioned before, when I had that one time with the prosecutor, him and I were out in the hallway and basically had a motherfucker competition in the hallway of a courthouse. And there were people in the hallway watching it go down, watching it fucking happen. And we were really fucking mean to each other, unprofessional. And I spoke, an attorney or two that I knew spoke to me. And I know that on his side in the prosecutor's office, some people, some of his higher ups that spoke to him, word got around. And then, I came to him. I said, I called the front desk and I said, hey, can I speak to, prosecutor so-and-so? And I, he called, I said, hey, are you free this afternoon? Can I come by and talk? And he says, yeah, that'd be great. He's like, I would like that very much. So I came and I meet him and we walked in his office and, we sat down and, we handled it like adults. And I said, look, and he was about to talk to, and I said, look, I'd like to go first. Since I came in here, I'd like to go first. I apologize. I was very unprofessional. My zealotry for, representing my client got the best of me. I understand how things are, so my apologies to that. I hope you accept this apology, but I also said, if you can't, or if it's just, I went too far, I also understand that. And we'll just have to, work around this, I think, between, and if we have to work out some sort of, arrangement on that or whatever, we'll figure it out. And he was quiet for a second and he said, I have to apologize to you as well. I was very unprofessional. He said, I understand now, in hindsight, looking at it, why you were in the position you were in, why you felt that way. When we resolved it like adults. But there's times where you're going to fucking, it's like you get really fucking mad at the other side. And I partially did that also immediately because I needed to save face in front of that prosecutor's office because, before that, they knew me as a nice guy. They didn't want to think I'm a dickhead. But also, I didn't From what I understand, the judges found out about it because I remember I told you guys the court security came out and said, you guys have to chill the fuck out. I can hear you up front, and I'm only 10 feet in front of the judge. And if I can hear you, she's going to hear you very quickly. And he says, God forbid it gets quiet, she's going to fucking hear it. And then you're toast. And we would have been toast that second. Like, I wouldn't want to have been hauled in front of the judge. God, we would have both got nuked. So instead, we resolved it. And from what I understand, the judges did hear about it. But we had resolved the problem. So they didn't act on it because we had taken care of it. We acted as professionals and we addressed the issues. That said, though, I mean, it was a good, like I said, I mentioned before, it was like a good 6 months where attorneys like, hey, is it true you and so had like a big fucking fight up on the fourth floor of a common police court? We're like, yeah, that happened. But, I said, we're all good. We kind of, shit got out of hand, but him and I are both good. We're, I have cases that I'm dealing with him right now, and we're, we played hard but we did it respectfully after that. So it just happens. It just happens like that. So you have to handle it that way. Garrett says, I've caught that guy hiding knives all around the courthouse. Oh. Yes, apparently in the CNN trial, the judge did tell the lawyers they were acting like little children. Yes. Keith Patrick says that guy shows guns on his YouTube channel. You may want to apologize. This was way before I had a YouTube channel. This would have been 2016 or so. So it was a long time ago. And honestly, if I saw that guy today, I'd say, hey man, what's up? How you doing? Like I said, it's more of I think it's more of I have a story with a teaching point in it. Like you talk to the old timer attorneys and they've got, good attorney, there's attorneys out there, the old timers on any job, if you're working in a welding or whatever it is, there's going to be some guy who's been doing it for 30 years. It's got some really fucking good stories. And, you don't mean to have them. They just happen sometimes. And that story is something you can use and work from. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. And I think he did too. And, it took me a day or two of just like, I cooled off. I didn't, and then I went over and we talked it out like adults and it was all good. It was all good. So, forgive my zeal. Yeah. Did I stick a pencil in his ear? No. And then I said, you owe me one sandwich. No, I did not. It was just really, we were really fucking like, we were dickheads. And I'll admit, I was a big fucking asshole and I was very unprofessional. I was really fucking mad. But, there's, I could have handled it better and I didn't. So. That lung sanction is kind of wholesome. Yeah, it was. It would have been hilarious if they did go to a Waffle House, but no, they went to an actual barbecue joint. So, all right. So getting back to some other comments you guys had here. Sorry, you guys were talking about that. Shredder is saying, and also Kevin, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, that's one of the risks. Like the feds are vindictive as shit when they want to be. Shredder is saying, is it actually helpful for the attorneys to show up and be in person with the defendant versus streaming from home? Well, I mean, guys, when I say client service, Mickey Stines is, Shawn Stines is there. This guy's probably already paranoid. He probably still has some mental issues. But there's only so much discovery you can go over. Like there are some jails here where I can like Zoom with my guy and go over documents and stuff like that. But there's nothing like being there in person. You got to be there. You got to talk to you. You got to be able to take care of him. Hey, man, how you doing? What are your issues? How can you do it? What can we do for you? Like, what's going on? You've got to have that rapport with a client. Otherwise, they're going to be like, what the fuck? And especially in a big case like this, where he might have some mental health issues, you need to help assure his stability. But also, they know these cases are going to be broadcast and everybody's going to be watching them. People like me are going to be watching this. So you know what? You're there. You stand by your man. You don't like, I'm not going to say you have to be oh so proud of him, but after all, he is just a man. But you do have to stand by your man. And court, everybody knows that, but to the world, his attorneys are keeping it 10 toes down, and I got respect for that. Now I know that they're already protecting their guy, but this just shows like we're here to do this. And also, the judge may have ordered you'll show up at the Leslie County Jail to do this. I don't know, but it does sound like the bond hearing will be in person. But no, if you can, you always try to. And also, this is probably like their biggest client. So guess what? You're fucking showing up everywhere. This also looks really good when you're trying to sell, like, look what I did for him. And people be like, oh my God, he fucking did it all. It's always, you're always advertising. You're always advertising, chat. You're always advertising. McMaster is saying, it's good to see you, man. It's been a little while. It says, I respect the judge for not being red in the face concerning the issues. Yeah. No, this judge seems to be really good. He seems to be pretty balanced so far. Although we've only really had it for one hearing. KLB says he's not going to get a bond, is he? Well, I mean, it all depends. If they turn out he's stark raving mad, yeah, it's like, well, judge, good news. We found out he's stark raving mad. Bad news, we won $1 million bond. So I kind of get the feeling there'll be some sort of, and now they're talking about putting him like inpatient facilities or like a psychiatric hospital. I mean, anywhere they put him would have to be on lockdown. Like, I don't see how that's going to work. He's not going to get out. I don't see how the judge would consent to any of that unless he was like in a state facility. But remember, guys, mental hospitals are fucking worse than jails and prisons. So something to think about. It's something to think about. You got to be careful what you wish for. You guys are saying this is Danny on and Bronca in Kentucky. That's pretty good. They kind of look like it. I can see the resemblance. Now, on a wall, what did Legal Mindset say? Something similar? I don't know what you're saying there, but okay. But we're going to move on to some other comments here. Getting back to some January 6th stuff. Jefferson Post says, would you be interested in the case number for the beanie that happened in email of the weekend? Let me know if you think talking about it is imprudent. Jefferson, I would say it like this. I know you mentioned it's like a friend of yours, and like the fact you brought it up, I assume you guys were kind of close. I would just hang tight on it for right now. I mean, you can send it to me and I can look at it, but I'm not necessarily going to be like, whoa, buddy, about everything and blasting his shit out there because, like, I think it's a little premature for that. But yeah, I would just be careful about how you publicize it. I mean, if he is still your bro, I mean, just something to think about there. But you can send it to me, potentiallycriminal@gmail.com. But Fruitfly Sada says, can you undo the presidential pardon if Biden should have been 25th amended? Yeah, I mean, no, because there's no indication he should have. Everybody assumed he was functioning. Like, you can't really go back and undo these. It's very much like when the House passes legislation. If the House broke the rules in signing it or passing it, and everybody said no, everybody in favor say aye, everybody in favor, everybody against nay. The ayes have it, and then it gets passed, and nobody like fights through it. There's nothing really to stop. The Supreme Court will not get involved in the inner workings of things. So if Biden's up there signing shit, they're gonna be like, can't undo it. It's like a bullet out of a gun. Can't call it back. Let's see here. Debbie O, thank you, Debbie. It's good to see you, by the way. Is saying the Philly DA wants to bring charges against pardon January 6th so they're properly punished. I heard that, but I haven't seen his legal theory because what's his legal theory? He has no legal theory about it. I mean, literally, it happened inside Washington, D.C., number one. And number two, it's a federal offense. Like, it's a federal offense. So, number one, he's not even in the right jurisdiction. And then number two, he has, he has, like, no venue and no subject matter jurisdiction for this. So, I'd be really curious to know how he thinks he can do that. But, it's all bluster and bullshit anyway. So, we'll see. We'll see what he comes up with. And I'm going to be looking for his articles about that. So we'll see here. LPR, Tyler, how you doing, man? Where is that at here? I just missed it. Okay. Let me see here. Where is... Did I miss it? Where did it go? Where did it go? I think I missed it. I think I missed it, chat. Tyler's asking, when am I going to show my, when's I reveal my low waist hat? Well, I mean, a low waist, I mean, I got... My waist is pretty low right now. It's pretty saggy, so... I mean... You know, you wouldn't be able to see it. The fat covers it up anyway. So... My state flower is the carnation anyway, good sir. But Tyler over the Libertarian Podcast Review. Once again, chat. The #1 podcast review of libertarians. But also the #1 libertarian podcast review that's out there. #1 in multiple fields. Tyler does great stuff, guys. Usually on Friday nights. Tyler, like I said, man, we need to get together again. That'd be fun to talk. So we'll do that. I have a tattoo of the equator on my waist. Pretty much. Let's see here. Ketchup is the worst thing humans ever invented. No. There's worse things that humans have invented. Like hummus. So let's see here. Samuel Hartman is being felt it's not a legal standard. Well, yeah. Oh. What is the Ohio State train? Well, there's not a state train, but it's actually, believe it or not, Ohio is a big place for rail foamers and rail observers to go. And there's a couple spots coming up through Columbus towards Lima, Ohio. There's a couple of towns people like to go, actually even further north. One of the biggest ones is Fostoria, Ohio. It's got like a really neat set of tracks. There's like a park. It's surrounded on 3 sides by trains. If you Google Fostoria, Ohio in YouTube, you're going to see fucking foamers everywhere talking about it. It's a real thing. I'm not joking, chat. So, yeah. That said, though, like going to Fostoria, Ohio, and living in Fostoria, Ohio, is 2 separate things. Like, you never want to live there. Never want to live there. People call it Foster Rica for a reason. It's not good. It's not good down there. That said, also, it's interesting. It's a town that's in 3 separate counties, where 3 counties converge as the town. So it's a little weird if you have cases down there. I did have a case down there once when I was working in Toledo. It was a fucking mess. Because for a minute, we couldn't tell where it actually happened. And then the state figured it out. Benjamin says, unless I want to take a train to nowhere. Yeah. Seller says they have a 24/7 rail cam we can watch right now. Okay. Oh, my God. No. No. Ohio is for autists. Yes, it is. The Western Reserve Railroad developed part of Ohio. Yes, it did. And I actually live, right now, like on the edge of the Western Reserve of Connecticut, as initially said in the maps. Did I ever see the old TRW headquarters before they tore it down? Yes, I actually had a doctor that actually had an office in there for a while. It's cool. The TRW headquarters in Cleveland, it's like a fucking James Bond, like evil villain's headquarters. Like, it was this huge building. It was insane inside. I'm not going to watch the trains after the stream, I promise you. No, we're not talking about the rail cams, chat. So anyway, Lima's like the 3rd largest engine shop in the world at one point. Yes, Lima's also where they manufacture the United States tank plant is. So the United States tank plant is a government facility that's contracted by General Dynamics, and they make the M1 Abrams tank. The only place in America that makes them. Anniston, Alabama refurbishes them, but the M1 hulls are manufactured and the turrets are manufactured here in Ohio. They used to be manufactured up in Detroit as well, but the Detroit Arsenal has since shut down. So, free information for you guys to know. Free information for you. He's gonna foam. No, I'm good. I'm good. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Unhung Hero's been a member for 11 months. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Is that the lawyer version of Bronca? Yeah, it's the Kentucky Bronca right there. I should bring that back down since we're there. Trump said we had / have a tanning plant in Warren, Ohio. Yes, but that's not really, it hasn't been used in a long time. The Detroit Arsenal still is there, but that's where the U.S. Army's Armor and Automotive Command Development Command is. So there's an Army command up in Detroit, but it's not an active plant anymore. So as part of the Chrysler plant and all that, who originally started making some of the initial M1s, but that line is closed. So the Army headquarters is up there, but that's it. So oh, William Wallace. It's almost St. Valentine's Day. Yeah, we're getting there, chat. Katy, Texas is situated in the convergence of 3 county lines: Harris County, Waller County, and Fort Bend County. There you go. Yes, make breadboards American again. Aaron says, yes, there is new evidence filing in the Delphi case. Yes, we are going to work on that coming up as well. There's a couple of things to talk about this week. You know, we got some things in the the Cody Wilson Fudbusters lawsuit. We got Destiny getting sued. Oh, for being a sketchy boy. If we already didn't know that, but oh my God. He's actually a really bad guy, it sounds like. And then we've got some stuff at Delphi coming out as well. So, so that is kind of, the Army Locomotive Command is run by the Foamer in Chief. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Funny guy, chat. So, repeat after me. I am not a foamer. I am not a foamer. I am not a foamer, chat. I am not a foamer. Destiny's getting Felton on the casino right now. Yeah, that's not a surprise. So, all right, chat. Well, that is it for tonight. It's a little bit of a shorter show, but I think it's some pretty good stuff. Like I said, tomorrow's going to be about the pardons. We've got a lot of pardons and a lot of things to talk about there and what's going to happen. I know a lot of people seem to disagree with the idea of kind of like blanket pardons, but guys, it's Article 2. What does it say you cannot do? Those are kind of the limits, and it's pretty limitless. Just not pardoning and impeachment. So you pretty much have a limitless power to pardon for offenses. I know people don't like to hear that, but people don't think plenary, it's like the meme goes. People don't think plenary powers be like they is, but they do. So Trump says, what? That's it? Yeah, we got done a little faster than I anticipated. I thought it'd be about 2.5 hours, but we got done there. Analyst says, what time will be on tomorrow? Let me double check my schedule here, because I think we could probably do, and I'll set it now, Chad. I'll tell you now. So we'll lock it in. We'll be live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. We will do it. So we'll go there and we'll start there. 8:30 CST? No, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central. Is that what it would be? It's 8 o'clock? Yeah, going backwards. Yeah, it would be 7 o'clock Central. So that's what we'll be doing. 8 o'clock chat. That way everybody's got time to eat dinner, hang out with their family, and we'll get to it. When is the next body cam stuff going to be for the members? American Legend, I am trying to think about that. We're going to work on that here. I just think this week, kind of a big deal. We don't have time for that. If we'll squeeze one in over the weekend, I'll make it up to you guys. But we'll definitely be back to it next Wednesday. It's just, this is kind of like many, as Ron Paul would say, it's happening. Go to the happening bunker. We're at DEFCON 1 for happenings, chat. So, what is the next Kino Casino skin? Wouldn't you like to know? Do I have court tomorrow? Yes, I do. Hopefully, we can avert some crises, and then I could go take care of other stuff. But I might be like at a full day hearing. I'm a guardian on a case, and I'm like hoping we can work. Mom and Dad can work some things out, because otherwise, I'm gonna want to sit there and go like. But we'll see. We'll see. Remember, the sheriff is not guilty unless proven guilty. Yes. Right now, Mickey Stines is innocent until proven guilty. But I will just point out, this is one of those few times where we get to watch the guy do the deed. So maybe he's got some sort of mitigating circumstance. But yeah, they pretty much got him. Wow, the wind. Ooh, I can see it howling out there. Wow. So that's not good. That's not good. So Aaron's plea hearing is tomorrow. Oh yeah. So we'll find out about that. That'll be interesting. We'll talk about that on Thursday, guys. We're not going to do too much about that tomorrow. We'll save it for Thursday. We need some stuff there. So chat, is it snowing? No, it snowed last night, but the snow's just blowing around. Like I had to go to court. Like I had to go to court at 1 o'clock and shoveled everything off. Got home at 3:30. And it was like an inch of snow had blown back over everything, and it hadn't snowed in the air anymore. So, are we going to locals tonight? No locals tonight, chat. We're going to save locals for Thursday. If PPP grows a beard, you're going to be confused forever. Yes. All right, chat. Well, we're going to land the plane here. Everybody brace for impact. Want to thank everybody that's out there. Everybody on Rumble. Everybody, William, you are out there on Twitter. Thank you for being 201 ghosts plus William Wallace. I appreciate that. Thank you for being out there. It's always neat seeing because, I get the little differences in icons when people are popping up on stuff. And then also thank all you guys here on YouTube. I appreciate you sticking around. And remember, until next time, chat, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although, Sheriff Stines is probably guilty. It's an issue of, does he have an excuse for it or not? So we'll find out. This is going to be an interesting case. There are going to be a lot of twists and turns going forward, chat. I'm looking forward to it. And I know you guys are as well. So until next time, guys, I will see you tomorrow night at 8. We will start going through the pardons and the executive actions that have taken place. And what does this actually mean for all of us? So until then, chat, good night and take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?